I have to confess that when I first heard the city of Kitchener was going to create a music scene, I cringed. I literally cringed. In my many years in the music business, I've been very fortunate to have been a part of several music scenes in northern Mississippi, in downtown Chicago. I was a part of those scenes. I was a part of a scene for years in Oslo, Norway, and also for years in Sydney, Australia. And I've also been a witness to some of the best scenes in North America: Austin, Texas, Brooklyn, New York, Portland, Oregon, Athens, Georgia. And so I kind of know what a music scene is about. And when I heard the city of Kitchener was going to create a music scene, my blood boiled. The more I thought about it, the angrier I got. I have to confess this. And I was determined to get to the bottom of it. Because, like you, I pay taxes here. I pay quite a few taxes. And I want to make sure that my money is well represented. So I called City Hall and I found out who was in charge of this creating the music scene, and found out it was, in fact, Sylvia here. I booked a meeting with her, and I went to that meeting with my Chicago attitude on. This being Canada, I will spare you with that Chicago attitude, but I was ready to give it to her with both barrels. The first thing Sylvia said in the meeting was that the city of Kitchener recognizes and realizes that in order to grow the downtown core and the city as a whole, in order to keep on the up and up, that this city requires a vibrant cultural, arts and musical community. That's what draws the employers, that's what draws businesses to this city, and it's what makes the most valued employees in the country want to come here and live and work. She said that without this scene, the city will go stagnant. That the city of Kitchener realizes we need the arts community. What do you think of that? So she started this meeting off pretty good, but I wasn't swayed yet. I laid the track for her. I said, Sylvia, what are you going to do to create that scene? She laughed at me. She said, well, I can't create a music scene here. That's not my role. She said, don't you know that music scenes are created from the grassroots, from the bottom up? They're created by the artists. All the city can do is create an environment that supports that. Yeah, that no businessman, no bureaucrat, no administrator in a cubicle or an office can create a scene. Scenes are created by signing paperwork or making proclamations. They don't come from the top down. They come from the artists, from the creative community itself. So I went into this meeting angry and a non-believer. I came out of it pretty satisfied with the direction the city's going in, and I came out of it a full-fledged supporter of the Music Works initiative. I'm originally from the United States, so I have a different view of how music fits into government and culture. And the fact that we have somebody here from the Ontario Arts Council whose job it is to award money to musicians to do their thing is mind-blowing. There is nothing like that in the States. Musicians are looked at by and large as second-hand citizens. But when our prime ministers and our elected officials say that the greatest export that Canada has to the world is our culture, is our arts and our musicians and our actors and our comedians, boy, that really strikes a chord. And the fact that this city recognizes that they need you, they need you, they need you, they need all of us. They need all of us to make this a city that works is just mind-blowing. And the way they're going about it is also, in many ways, in modern business, revolutionary. You know, model of instituting a program like this would be something we called Ready, Fire, Aim. Doesn't work out so well. No, the city, the Council of Economic Development and Business Development had the foresight to say, ready, aim, fire. Instead of saying what we're going to do to create a scene, they said, you know what? We're a blank slate. We need you, the artists, the creative types, to tell us what your dreams are, what your barriers are to success, what your needs are to create a vibrant music scene. And to me, that is revolutionary, that a bureaucracy can think in those terms. And for that, I think we've got to give it up to the city council. Yeah? Now, if you are like me in any way, I imagine there's still a fair amount of skepticism out there to whether this can actually work. So, to that point, I have an anecdote. In my conversations with Sylvia, she told me that in 2006, there was a meeting just like this, with Sylvia and some of her esteemed colleagues, and some of the community leaders and people that wanted to move the city forward. They had a meeting just like this, only the invitees weren't in the music business. They were in the high-tech business and the business development sector. And they did the same thing. They said, we want to grow your businesses. We want to make this a vibrant scene for high-tech and business development. Tell us what your dreams are. Tell us what you need. Tell us what we can do to support that. Well, did that work out? Wow. 6 years later, we have this hub of incredible activity that is the Lang Tannery. And we also have, in the building phases, the Bright Up Block, which is going to be full of high-tech and business development. People, I have to tell you, that Kitchener is the envy of Canada in those two sectors for what the city has planted the seeds and what those people have done to build. So yes, it can work. There is a catch. With this acknowledgement from the city that they need us, comes a responsibility. As we've said, the city can't create this scene. It is created by everyone in this room. That means all of you out there, and many more of your peers that aren't here today, are going to have to do the heavy lifting. Step one is you're going to have to speak up today and talk about what your dreams and what your needs are. Step two is you are going to have to go out and work and work and work some more. I mean, think of the music business and think of the trends in the last 10 years, okay? Live music venues and attendance at those places, record sales, right? The music business has been buffeted by the winds of change and it's taken it on the chin. Can we create the music business the way it was in the 80s? I don't think so. I don't think so. If we could, trust me, the record labels would have already been on that. So how are we going to do this? Well, if you think about the music business, and as Sammy Davis Jr. said, there's two words in music business, music and business. We are the musicians here. Of course, there's business represented as well. We are going to have to think in new ways. We can't think to recreating the Kitchener of the 80s and the 90s that I hear so much about. No, because the business has fundamentally changed. But do we have the goods to deliver that? My God, we have hundreds, if not thousands of people here ready to start new businesses. They are looking for ideas. They have funding for ideas. They have the fire in the belly to start new businesses. Wow. That's a perfect marriage with music. We also have the high-tech sector. And you know what? These high-tech people, these geeks, are music freaks. I know that when they shop at my store. And think of how music is created these days. It's recorded via high-tech. It is marketed via high-tech. It is sold via high-tech. Fan bases are built using social networks via for my day job, Blue Rodeo, I am in a minimum of 20 to 50 different Canadian cities every year. We do anywhere from 50 to 150 shows in Canada. And after every one of these shows, all across this great country, we have what we call a meet and greet. That's where we bring fans backstage, and we pose for photographs, and we talk to them, we get to know them. And the most common question I am asked 20 to 50 times a year in these different cities all across Canada, the most common question I'm asked is, where are you from? And I say, well, I'm proud to be from Kitchener, Ontario. And the most common response is, why? To quote the great Martin Luther King, I have a dream. And that dream is based on the work we are kicking off today in this historic meeting, that in 2 to 3 years from now, when I am backstage at these meet and greets, and I say, I'm proud to be from Kitchener, Ontario, these fans in every city across this great country are not going to ask home of one of the greatest, most vibrant music scenes in Canada. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Bob. Be nice